The night before our wedding, my fiancée threw a party in our bridal suite, bringing along her 8 toy boys. I stormed in, and all hell broke loose. As I raised my hand to slap the last one, she shielded him, her face grim. "Anyone but him," she said. "And why not him?" I sneered, kicking the boy down the stairs. My fiancée personally made sure I was sent to prison for it. I got 3 years. The day I was released, she was there to meet me, pushing a wheelchair. In it sat that same familiar face. "I was wrong about what happened," Diana said. "Our engagement is back on." The boy, Julian, looked at me with tears in his eyes. "After you pushed me down the stairs, I broke my legs. Diana felt responsible and took care of me for these 3 years. Don't worry, I've already booked a flight. I'll be gone soon." I glanced at Diana's slightly swollen belly and gave a cold snort. Fine. The one I didn't finish off 3 years ago needed to die now. Hearing this, Julian's eyes welled up as he placed a hand on Diana's stomach. "Baby, don't blame your daddy for not being there for you. It's all my fault," he continued, his voice choked with sobs. "Take a good look at me, because this might be the last time you and your mother ever see me." He sounded so pathetic, you'd think he was on his deathbed. But Diana bought it completely. She tenderly wiped away Julian's tears, then turned to me. "Frank, what happened back then was my fault. I promise. I will make it up to you with the wedding I promised. But Julian is the baby's father. The child is innocent in all this. Why don't we let him stay until the baby is born? Let them meet just once before he leaves, all right?" I looked into Diana's eyes and saw the same earnest expression she wore when she sent me to prison for Julian. "Of course," I said. "I have no problem with that. Frank, it seems those 3 years inside have made you much gentler and more reasonable," Diana said with a satisfied smile. Right in front of me, she carefully helped Julian into the passenger seat that had once been exclusively mine. I smiled too. It was better to keep him close. It would save me the trouble of hunting him down when it was time to settle the score. When we got back to the house that was once ours, I found my room was completely transformed. The decor was now a French provincial style I despised. From the clothes in the closet to the trinkets on the desk, every trace of me had been erased. There was even a wooden crib by the bay window, one I could tell Diana had assembled herself. She had prepared everything. She never had any intention of sending Julian away. Seeing my eyes narrow, Julian flinched and stammered, "Frank, please don't be angry. Diana was just worried about me being alone, so she brought me here. I didn't know this was your room. I'll pack my things and move to the guest room right now. Just please don't hit me." He looked terrified, trying to stand but collapsing to his knees because of his legs. Diana rushed to lift him, cooing softly. "Julian, you don't have to be so meek. I set this room aside specifically for you. Frank wasn't using it, so it was just sitting empty." She then looked at me, explaining, "Frank, you can see his legs are bad. It's hard for him to get around, and his health isn't great. This room gets the best sunlight, which is good for him. Why not let him have it? It's only for a few months." In the past, no matter how much Diana fooled around, she never let any of her flings disrespect me, let alone take what was mine. She always said they were just for show, that she loved watching me get jealous and deal with her little distractions myself. But Julian was different. For him, she always made an exception. Of those 8 original toy boys, he was the only one who was real. I said nothing and turned toward the guest room. I woke from a nightmare, my throat parched. As I went to the wet bar for water, I overheard Diana on the balcony, her voice laced with a grating laugh. What could I do? The poor boy cried his eyes out after being kicked down the stairs. I was on a power trip and had to let off some steam for him. Prison seemed like the perfect place for Frank. That domineering personality of his needed to be broken. Besides, how could I have my fun with Julian if I didn't get Frank out of the way for 3 years? I'm about done playing now, and he's out. Once Julian has the baby, I'll send him away and settle down with Frank for good. And Frank really has changed. It was worth bribing those old guards inside to tame him. My hand clenched my phone so tightly the case creaked. I was back in my room before she turned around, leaning numbly against the door. After a long moment, I lit a cigarette. In the mirror, through a haze of smoke, I saw my own bloodshot eyes. It was just like my first year inside. My hair hacked off, my skin flayed open by belts, cigarettes extinguished on my flesh, the cold shock of an iron rod, and the metallic scent of blood that never seemed to wash away. So all of it, the targeted abuse from the guards, had been arranged by Diana. Every moment I was living through hell, she was busy indulging herself with another man. My right-hand man called. "Frank, everything's in place. Should we move now?" "No," I said. "Let them enjoy themselves for a few more days. It will hurt more when they lose everything. In 3 years, Diana never visited me. So she had no idea that starting in my second year, the men she'd paid off, both inside the prison and out, had all started dying from a series of unfortunate accidents. Diana thought she could train a lapdog, but what she unleashed was a demon. Later that night, someone slipped into my bed. I recognized the perfume immediately. "Frank, you're so thin. You've suffered so much these past 3 years. I missed you terribly," she whispered. I stopped her wandering hand. "If you missed me so much," I said flatly, "why did you send me to prison and never once visit?" Diana lowered her gaze and sighed. "We came up from the orphanage together, relying on each other to get where we are today. Do you think it was easy for me? But you're just so headstrong, Frank. It's not good for you. And you did hurt him. I thought maybe some time to cool off would do you good. I was afraid I'd go soft if I saw you. And Julian's legs were ruined because of you. He needed constant care. I had to atone for what you did. But that's all in the past. I'll make it up to you now. 3 years of hell, of systematic torture, all dismissed with a few casual words. Just as her lips touched my cheek, the housekeeper knocked. "Ms. Vance, Mr. White says his stomach is hurting. He's asking for you." "I'll be right there. Frank, I'll come back for you later." The warmth of a moment ago vanished. She left in a hurry and never returned. I went to the bathroom and scrubbed the spot she had touched a dozen times, until my skin was raw and the feeling of disgust finally began to fade. The next day, Diana told me to dress up. "Julian has been so thoughtful. He's arranged a welcome home party for you to celebrate your return. Frank, don't disappoint him." I wanted to see what game Julian was playing, so I agreed. The party was a large affair, attended not just by company staff, but also by Diana's business partners. She had done well for herself in the last 3 years, networking with industry titans and providing seed money for many rising stars. Now, they were returning the favor, backing her ventures, and helping her expand the company's portfolio. The moment I stepped into the ballroom, 2 buckets of what looked like animal blood were dumped all over me. "What the hell are you doing?" Diana snapped at the waiters. Julian explained timidly. "Diana, don't be mad. Frank just got out yesterday, and I heard that this can wash away bad luck. Prison is such a filthy place. My stomach was hurting yesterday, and I was worried it was some bad energy affecting the baby. This is for Frank's own good, too. People might not say anything, but they're probably thinking it. This way, we can put everyone at ease. Don't worry, I already have a change of clothes for him. A gift from me." At his explanation, Diana's anger subsided. "All right, I'll take Frank to get changed." But Julian held her back. "Diana, your partners are here. If we don't greet them first, it will look incredibly rude." Diana considered this and nodded. "You're right, Julian. You think of everything. Frank, you go get changed on your own. I'll wait for you down here." I had arrived in a long-sleeved shirt and pants. The clothes Julian had prepared for me were a tank top and shorts. The moment I walked out wearing them, I understood his true intention. As the crowd's gaze fell upon my scarred skin, there was a collective gasp. "My God, can you even call that a human body? It's disgusting. I think I'm going to be sick." That's Frank Ashworth, just out of prison. I heard he caused trouble inside and was taught a lesson. They say he was so messed up he can't even have kids now. Serves him right for what he did to Julian. Honestly, a man like that isn't worthy of Ms. Vance, is he? Julian is a much better match for her. Even with the wheelchair, he's so elegant. Not like this guy. That hideous body would scare any woman off. Julian blushed demurely. "Please, don't say that about him," he said. "He knows he was wrong. Everyone deserves a second chance. Besides, how could I ever compare to Frank? Diana bought him a magnificent diamond watch. I'm nothing." He certainly knew how to play the victim. One of Diana's partners, who had never met me, looked from Julian to me, his tone dripping with disdain. "Ms. Vance, I must have misheard. Is that hideous convict really your fiancé?" Diana and I locked eyes. After a few seconds, she looked away. "No," she said. "He's just a friend from my childhood." Her words were tantamount to a public breakup. The entire room erupted in cheers for Diana and Julian. A perfect match. Get together. Get together." The partner nodded emphatically. "I knew it. A woman like you, and a watch that exquisite, could only belong with a handsome man like Mr. White." In the end, Diana fastened the watch onto Julian's wrist. "Oh, Diana, you shouldn't," he protested weakly. "This was for Frank." "It's fine. They're right. It looks much better on you. I guess I just picked the wrong gift for Frank. It's yours now. Consider it a reward. A reward for protecting her reputation." The partner shot me a look of contempt. "Isn't it time for some people to leave? Ms. Vance, Having this eyesore around is frankly killing my mood to talk business. Diana came over and whispered, "Frank, just go home for now. I'm sorry, but I have to close this deal today. I'll have to ask you to put up with this for a little while. I'll clear things up with everyone later, okay?" Before she left, she hesitated. "And in the future, maybe don't wear clothes that show your arms or your neck." I didn't miss the flicker of disgust in her eyes. It was almost funny. Did she forget that she was the reason I had these scars in the first place? That night, I was jolted awake by the sound of Diana kicking my door in. She stormed over and dragged me from the bed. "Just because I didn't acknowledge you today, because I gave the watch to Julian, you do this to him?" Before I could even process what was happening, she had dragged me into Julian's room. His comforter had been sliced open, and inside, a dozen slimy leeches were squirming. "Frank, I didn't mean to take your watch or your place," Julian cried. "It was about Diana's reputation." I couldn't say anything. "But how could you be so cruel, putting these blood-sucking things in my bed? I'm anemic, you know. I was lucky I found them. Here, I'll give the watch back. Just please, leave me alone." I looked at Diana. "I didn't do it. Check the security cameras if you don't believe me." But she wouldn't listen. "I don't need to. I know how vengeful you are. I thought prison would have taught you a lesson, but you've only gotten worse. I should have left you in there for a few more years. Either way, I'm teaching you a lesson tonight, so you never dare to hurt Julian again." Half an hour later, Diana's men brought in a large barrel, pinching their noses. It was filled to the brim with leeches. They dumped the entire contents into the bathtub and then gave the order, "Throw him in." I snapped my head up to look at her. "Diana, you will regret this. The only thing I'll regret is not teaching you your place." With that, they forced me into the tub. Hundreds of leeches swarmed over me, a writhing carpet of bodies covering my skin. The water instantly turned red. I blacked out. When I came to, I was on the living room sofa, and four in my arm for a blood transfusion. I'd almost forgotten Diana, and I shared the same blood type. She watched me for a long time before sighing. "Why do you have to be so stubborn? If you had just apologized, just shown a little remorse, I wouldn't have had to do that." What was that supposed to be? An apology? I ripped the four from my arm and staggered upstairs. Behind me, I heard Diana's exasperated voice. "Frank, let this be a lesson to you. I don't want a repeat of this." At the top of the stairs, I ran into Julian, holding a bowl of soup. "Oh, Frank, you're awake. I made you some soup to help you recover. You should have it while it's warm." I stared at him coldly. "Is this how you people operate? Staging these little dramas to get what you want?" Hearing that, Julian dropped the act. He smirked. "I'm surprised you made it out of there alive. But it doesn't matter. In the game of love, the one who isn't loved is the one on the outside." He glanced over my shoulder. "Don't believe me? I'll prove it to you." He suddenly smashed the bowl, screamed, and launched himself out of his wheelchair toward the stairs. Diana, hearing the commotion, rushed over and caught him in her arms. She then walked toward me, her face like ice. A second later, a powerful hand grabbed my collar, and I was sent tumbling down the stairs. I felt blood trickling from my scalp. "Frank Ashworth, you never learn, do you? Trying to pull the same stunt again. I told you that was the last time. Since you clearly don't take me seriously, then maybe everyone is right. A violent, malicious criminal is not fit to be my husband." After what had just happened, I knew any explanation would be useless. I looked up at her and smiled. "What's the plan, Ms. Vance? Going to send me back to prison for your little boy toy?" Her eyes fell on my bloody face, and she paused. "Since Julian wasn't hurt this time, no. But I'm changing the groom. I'm marrying Julian. You owe him that. As for us, after the wedding, I'll still legally marry you. We can consider it a final settlement for all our years together. From then on, you'll stay quietly here at the house. Julian will accompany me to public functions." I almost laughed out loud. Diana really wanted to have her cake and eat it too. The mockery in my eyes enraged her. She yelled at her bodyguards, "Take him to the villa upstate immediately. Don't let him out without my permission. Let him stay there and think about what he's done, so he doesn't hurt Julian again." 4 or 5 bodyguards shoved me into a car, but they didn't take me to the villa. They dumped me in an abandoned factory. One of them pulled a knife and smiled. "Mr. White's orders. You're not supposed to see the sunrise. It's just business, so don't take it personally." No wonder I didn't recognize them. I'd assumed they were new hires. They were Julian's men. "Oh, and Mr. White didn't want you to be bored in your final moments," he said, shoving a phone in my face. "He sent you something to watch." My eyes widened. On the screen, Julian, no longer in a wheelchair, was arm in arm with Diana, picking out wedding tuxedos. He giggled. "Diana, are you sure it won't look suspicious, me suddenly not needing the chair anymore?" "Don't worry, she replied. We'll just say you found a miracle cure. We have to have the most handsome groom. After all, it was your brilliant idea in the first place, to throw yourself down the stairs the moment Frank's foot touched you. All I had to do was get someone to fake the medical report to put him away. Frank was getting too powerful over the years. Sometimes I felt like he was more of a rival than a partner. I fought too hard to get where I am to let anyone threaten my position. I thought what he went through in prison would have broken his spirit, but he's still the same. The July air was sweltering, but a bone-deep chill washed over me. Nearly 20 years together. I was with her when she had nothing. We were partners, friends, family, the only people we could trust. I never imagined it would come to this. She wanted to destroy me because she was afraid of me? How pathetic. I looked at the smirking thugs closing in, and I closed my eyes. When I opened them again, there was only murder in them. Break them, I said. Before they could react, men in black suits swarmed from the shadows, taking down the thugs in an instant. Amid the sounds of snapping bones and screams, my man Marcus handed me a handkerchief, his eyes burning with rage. Frank, give the word, and I'll go kill those two animals right now. I calmly wiped the blood from my face. They've gone to so much trouble planning a wedding. It would be a shame to let it go to waste. The wedding planner is one of ours, isn't he? Tell him to convince Julian to have the ceremony at sea, on our most luxurious yacht. He loves to show off. He'll agree. Julian fell in love with the yacht at first sight and immediately agreed to the planner's suggestion. Diana, of course, had no objections. The more extravagant the wedding, the better she looked. But on the day of the wedding, Julian was nowhere to be found. Someone mentioned seeing him head to the master suite that was to be their bridal chamber. Guests started joking. The groom seems a bit eager. Can't even wait for the ceremony to be over? Ms. Vance must be quite something. Go get him. There will be plenty of time for that later. Diana smiled, but a sense of unease crept over her. Urged on by the crowd, she went to the suite. The moment she opened the door, the air filled with screams. Julian wasn't there. The king-sized bed, which should have been covered in rose petals, was soaked in blood. In the center of the mattress lay a severed hand, still wearing the diamond watch. I clapped my hands as I stepped out from the crowd. What a show, I said with a smile. Ms. Vance, you always have such unique decorations for your wedding night. Aren't you going to take a closer look? Seeing me, Diana froze, then her brow furrowed. Frank, I told you to stay at the villa and reflect. Who let you out? And what is this, some disgusting prop hand? Are you trying to ruin my wedding? You must have stolen the watch from him. Where is he? Hand him over right now, or I'll reconsider our own marriage license. I had to laugh. Diana, you can't possibly still believe I give a damn about marrying you, do you? As for where Julian is, don't you worry. It's your wedding day. I wouldn't dream of separating the bride and groom. He's right out on the deck. Diana ran out, half convinced I was lying. On the deck was a massive glass tank, and inside, several sharks were circling, and suspended above the tank, missing a hand, was Julian. When he saw Diana, he screamed in terror. Diana, help me. Frank is insane. He cut off my hand, and now he's going to feed me to the sharks. It hurts so much, I don't want to die. Julian. Diana tried to rush forward, but was blocked by my men. Frank, you've gone too far. You're forcing my hand. I'll have you sent back to prison. She gestured for her own security to seize me, but none of them moved. I smiled at her. Enjoying the yacht, Ms. Vance. Since I came here today to settle our accounts, did you really think I'd let any of your people on my ship? And as for your threats, I should remind you, we're in international waters. I'm sure you understand what that means. The color drained from Diana's face. She glared at me. I never gave the order to enter international waters. The captain is one of your men. You set me up. It seems that even while lost in your little fantasy world, you haven't become a complete idiot. Frank, what do you want? She demanded. I smiled and tilted my head. Finally, the right question. I'm here to collect a debt. From this moment on, you will do exactly as I say. Diana gritted her teeth. Don't push me, Frank. I have nothing to feel guilty about. I don't owe you a thing. Huh. I have to admire your nerve. It's even more shameless than I imagined. I heard your boy toy had a miraculous recovery. Perfect. Now we get to see what's tougher, your resolve or a shark's bite. I gave a slight nod, and my men began to slowly lower the rope. As Julian's feet neared the water, Diana finally broke, screaming with bloodshot eyes. I'll do it. Just don't hurt him. That's better. You know, I'm suddenly reminded of the smell of seared flesh. Now, take these cigarettes and extinguish them on your own skin. My men brought over a bundle of 100 lit cigarettes. Without hesitation, Diana pressed them against her arm. The flesh sizzled. She stared at me, not even flinching. Satisfied? Not even close. Now drink this bucket of swill. Every last drop. The humiliation of the command finally made her hesitate. But one look at Julian's tear-streaked face, and she gritted her teeth. I'll drink it. This time, she couldn't maintain her composure. She only made it halfway through before collapsing and vomiting. I shook my head in mock disappointment. What a shame. Ms. Vance failed to follow instructions. My apologies. At my signal, my men brought iron bars down on Julian's legs. A sickening crack echoed across the deck, followed by a piercing scream. Frank, Diana shrieked. You were always ruthless, but never this cruel. What happened to you? I lit a cigarette and smiled. Why? You made me this way, Ms. Vance. You don't understand? Allow me to clarify. The next moment, a familiar conversation began playing over the yacht speakers. Soon, every guest on board heard the recording of Diana and Julian plotting to frame me, to send me to prison. They heard how she paid men to torture me. A wave of murmurs went through the crowd. What? So his legs were never broken? It was all an act. If she wanted to leave him, she should have just left him. To do all that, to send him to prison to be tortured. It's a miracle he survived. Diana Vance is a monster. I looked at her ashen face and smiled. You said I ruined his legs. I did the time for it, but his legs were fine all along. Seems like I got a raw deal, don't you think? So it's only fair that I'm here now to collect what I'm owed. Diana was silent for a moment, her voice losing its edge. Frank, you knew. You're here for revenge, aren't you? I'm the one who wronged you. But this is on me, not Julian. I was the one who hurt you. He never did anything to you. It's just that he reminded me of you when we were young. Innocent, kind, gentle. I missed that version of you. But you grew so powerful, so strong that I started to fear you. It's all my fault. Do whatever you want of me. Just let him go. I started laughing at her words, laughing so hard that tears streamed down my face. Innocent, kind, gentle? Diana, if I had stayed that way, neither of us would have survived to see today. Back then, we had nothing and no one. Two orphans with no safety net. We had to rely on each other and fight our way out of the gutter. And besides, do you really think he's so innocent and kind? What are you talking about? I gestured to a guard, who brought me the diamond watch. Diana had no idea that before she gave it to Julian, I'd already had my hands on it. One of the small decorative dials was actually a micro camera. In front of everyone, I connected it to a laptop. Diana watched as the footage played, showing Julian planting the leeches in his own bed before calling for her. She saw him throw himself from the wheelchair and heard every word he said. Finally, she saw the footage of Julian talking to his hired thugs. Take him somewhere remote and finish him. He thinks he's going to marry Diana? Dream on. I'm going to be her only husband. Diana's face went dark. She strode to the tank and slapped Julian hard across the face. Didn't I tell you this was just a game? How dare you try to have Frank killed? This wedding was more than you ever deserved. Who gave you permission to get so greedy? You deserve to be fed to the sharks. Julian wept pathetically. Diana, I'm sorry. I just love you so much. I wasn't thinking straight. And Frank is fine, isn't he? For all the years I've been with you, for our child, please, save me. Diana hesitated. To be fair, Julian had served her well these past few years, and he had helped her recapture a feeling she thought was lost. Frank, she said, he's truly sorry. Why don't we just let him go? All right, I nodded. I can even let you go. Diana was shocked by my easy agreement. A joyful look crossed her face. Frank, I knew you still loved me. Don't worry, I'll send Julian away for good this time. He'll never bother you again. And even though you can't have children of your own, I promise this baby will only ever know you as its father. Julian even looks a little like you, so the baby will probably resemble you too. Even now, she was still trying to have it all. Don't celebrate just yet, Diana. I'm not finished. It seems your business partners have something to say to you. Why don't you hear them out before you make any decisions? As I spoke, the very same industry titans she had backed for years moved to stand behind me. They gave her cold, predatory smiles. Ms. Vance, if you insist on saving Mr. White, then don't be surprised when we all pull our funding. I then tossed a folder in front of her. Diana, you and I founded this company together. We agreed from the start, 50-50. At first, I actually believed you put me away just to have your fun with Julian. But guess what I found? While I was gone, you used a series of offshore shell corporations to embezzle over $1 billion from our company. Did you think I was dead? Her gaze fell on the documents, on the irrefutable proof of asset transfers and bank statements. This was her deepest secret, known by no one except the brilliant, capable, and fiercely loyal executive assistant she had hired 3 years ago. She slowly lifted her head, and there he was, standing right behind me. The realization finally dawned on her. She stared at me in disbelief. They're all your people? You sent them to me, had them give me exactly what I needed, so I would back them and help them take over their family businesses. Frank, you've been planning this for years. I gave a cold laugh. The feeling's mutual, isn't it? Julian was just a convenient excuse. The real reason was that Diana was afraid of me. These men, or their loved ones, were my fellow inmates. They were all framed by their own families and left to rot in that sunless place. Just like me, they were targeted and tormented. I taught them how to be strong, how to fight back. And now, they are loyal to me. How does it feel to be betrayed by those you trust? You brought this on yourself. If I turn this evidence over to the SEC, how many years do you think you'll get? After a long silence, Diana suddenly dropped to her knees. Frank, I was wrong. I'll get rid of this bastard child. Please, just let me go this once. I can't go to prison. I can't lose my funding. I can't lose the company. Well then, Ms. Vance, it seems you have a choice to make between your boy toy and your career. Oh, I understand the hesitation. I wouldn't want to put Mr. White in a difficult position. Perhaps you should just let him go? Diana slowly rose to her feet and looked at Julian. Julian, she said. I'm sorry. Julian's eyes widened in terror. Diana, what do you mean? The next second, Diana produced a knife and sliced through his rope. Julian plunged into the tank. The scent of his blood immediately drew the sharks. One of them tore off his leg in a clean bite. Julian thrashed, trying to climb out, but Diana shoved him back in. Julian, you love me, don't you? If you love me, you'll sacrifice yourself for my future. I've worked too hard to get here. I can't lose it all. Don't worry, I'll think of you fondly. Just consider this your penance for what was done to Frank. I rested my chin on my hand and looked down at Julian. It seems you weren't really loved after all. Were you, Mr. Otherman? Julian screamed, grabbing her arm in a death grip and cursing her. Diana, you monster. I'll haunt you from the grave. In his desperate struggle, one of the sharks took Diana's arm as well. She watched coldly as the sharks tore Julian apart. Better to be haunted by a ghost than to be a nobody. In Diana's world, nothing mattered more than her ambition. I'd learned that lesson 3 years ago. A pity Julian learned it too late. Frank, I'll return all the money. I'll get rid of the baby. Can you let me go now? Of course. I won't turn in the evidence. I'll fix the financial holes you created. These men won't pull their funding, and the company will be more successful than ever. Before she could sigh in relief, I held up my phone. Because you will no longer be a part of it. The video on the screen was frozen on the image of Diana cutting the rope. First-degree murder, Ms. Vance. Do you think you'll ever get out? Oh, and I forgot to mention, we were in international waters earlier. But the moment you walked toward Julian, we crossed back into U.S. territory. Diana's head snapped up. What are you saying? You forced me to do it. Oh, did I? I pressed play on the audio recording. My voice could be heard, saying only one thing. Perhaps you should just let him go? You see? I advised you to let him go. You didn't listen. You cut the rope. You held him under. What does any of that have to do with me? She was still defiant. All these people saw what you did. She gestured to the other guests, the ones who weren't my men. But one by one, they all shook their heads. We didn't see a thing. Diana was dumbfounded. I lifted her chin and smiled. You didn't really think I spent the last 3 years just thinking about you, did you? You sent me away because you were afraid of me, yet now you underestimate me. You know, during that first year, the torture gave me constant nightmares. So I made a vow. One day, I would become everyone else's nightmare. In the last 3 years, I built a powerful network. I have leverage on every single person here. Diana was led away in handcuffs. I scanned the remaining guests. Ladies and gentlemen, I trust you all know what to say and what not to say. They all nodded eagerly. Yes, of course, Mr. Ash. I mean, CEO Ashworth. We're at your disposal. A few days later, Marcus informed me that Diana had been declared mentally incompetent and committed to a psychiatric hospital. I nodded. How fitting. We've known each other so long. We should pay her a visit. When I saw Diana again, she was strapped to a bed, surrounded by 7 or 8 handsome young men. Each of them bore a slight resemblance to me. Her vacant eyes focused when she saw me. Frank, I'm not insane. They made a mistake. These men are monsters. I can't take it anymore. Send me back to prison. I'd rather be executed. Marcus leaned in and whispered respectfully. Sir, the orderlies confirmed they are following your instructions. Ms. Vance is medicated 3 times a day to ensure she remains receptive around the clock. Diana's eyes widened in horror. It was you. Shoo, I said, placing a finger on her lips. Diana, our business debts are settled, But you still haven't paid your personal debts. You said it yourself, I'm a vengeful man. Did you really think I'd let you have a quick death? I remember you said Julian looked a little like me, didn't you? I had to honor such deep, albeit disgusting, affection. Since you love substitutes so much, I had these young men undergo some minor cosmetic procedures. Don't worry, I've paid them enough to last a lifetime. So enjoy yourself, Diana. Try not to die too quickly. I would be very disappointed. As I left, I heard her final, hoarse scream. Frank Ashworth, you'll go to hell for this. You'll die a horrible death. But her curses were soon lost in a tide of drug-induced sensation. Soon enough, she would die from it, exhausted and broken. Outside, Marcus was waiting. Sir, the board dinner has begun. They're waiting for you to start. I know, I said. Let's go. Diana said I would go to hell. I already crawled out of it. And for as long as I live, I will make everyone understand. I am hell itself.